Well, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is a team selection video for Game Week 20. I hope you've all had a wonderful time. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a good end of the year and a good beginning of the year. I had a great holiday season. Not so great as an FPL manager. I'm on a back of 2 consecutive red arrows, albeit this one's smaller than the last one, but red arrow nonetheless. After having that crazy run of 6 or 7 amazing green arrows, I've stagnated a bit, and that Saka injury has ruined the whole strategy and everything else. We're going to get into that later. Yeah, I didn't do a Game Week review this week as well because it was New Year's Eve. I was like, yeah, that's not... We can cover that in this video. It might be a bit longer, but... we're going to check how the team did, and also we're going to see how the team is looking for the Game Week 20. Half the season gone already. Wow. So let's just jump straight into it. Let's just go to the Fantasy app over here. Go to Fantasy, and as you can see here, I am on 75 points, which doesn't sound tragic at all. But in a game week like this, in a rank like this, it was bad. Here. I'm 26k right now. So I was 19k. And before the week before that, I was 13k. So I went from 13k to 26k on 2 game weeks. Not the worst, but not. I've been a bit unlucky and some bad decisions. Some things have gone against me. But let's just go straight into it and I'll show you. So here it is. Here's the team. Here's the team. On the first game week by Sunday, I was very down. I was like, I felt way more tragic because. I don't know, I just didn't expect the likes of Rodgers and MBEUMO to come back with returns and just help me a bit up the ranks. But Trent definitely killed me. Trent killed me after after insisting that I would never get him into my team. He finally came out to bite me. A deflection goal nonetheless, but you know, it is what it is. This is why I said so many times, I'm happy to every now and then, you know, bite the nail and just... You know, he's going to score every now and then. But I mean, this is his first goal this season. He's on 4 assists. I know the likes of Gabriel, Aina, and some of the other defenders who are on 2 goals. So I still think he's not essential to having a team, especially for that price. I'm still not going to get him on my team. There was a part of me that game week, because I was so down in the rank, I was like, shit. I was trying to figure out ways to have Trent, but it would destroy the whole structure and everything that I worked for. So I was like, no, I'm still going to insist on not getting him. Gomez came out injured, which... made it worse. Had I gotten clean sheets, a 6-pointer from Gomez, that would have still been not that worse, you know. 6-point from him. Munoz, who I brought in for this game week, blanks. And then Hall, Lewis Hall, who I benched second in my bench. I don't know how that happened because I was going to play him instead of Colwill before I brought Munoz. And I don't know how he had to, I mean... Luckily, all of my players started, so I didn't have to. I didn't have to rely on my bench. But if one of my players, like the likes of Jackson, who didn't start but came off the bench, if he didn't start at all, and then Colwill went instead of Hall, I would have just lost my head. That would have been. But since no one did, you know, it's fine at this point. But let's just look at it straight. David Raya with 2 points and Gabriel with 2 points, conceding very early in the game. A bit disappointing, but at the same time, it was MBEUMO who scored, so I mean, I was like, okay, you know, it feels bad, but at least it's MBEUMO, you know? It's at least I'm getting point somewhere else. I knew this shit was going to happen one way or another when you play. I mean, what's worse, that or just... I know a lot of people that don't like to play attackers against their defense. So I know a lot of people who benched MBEUMO because they had double Arsenal defense. And that's worse because your Arsenal defense is blanking, MBEUMO is returning, and it's on your bench. So, yeah, I don't like that logic. You know, to me, it's like whatever happens, happens. And at that point, after MBEUMO scored, I was like, I hope Gabriel comes up with a bullet header. But that didn't happen, and it's fine. All my defense blanked. Super disappointing, especially knowing that Lewis Hall came up with 12 points and Alexander-Arnold scored 15. That damaged me the most this game week, I think, Alexander-Arnold, because that's the only highly owned among the elite FPL players that I don't have. On midfield, as I said, Rodgers... He did me well. I'm so happy. And this is the thing. Remember, was it 2 or 3 game weeks ago when I was planning to sell Rodgers and bring Ahmad in, you know? And then I said I don't want to knee-jerk because it just feels like I'd rather keep Rodgers because the fixtures are difficult now, but they're going to turn. This is it. He's returned twice now? No. Yeah, He scored 14 points against City. I benched him, unfortunately, that game. Blanked last game week and 11 points. And then he plays Leicester at home. But he got suspended, unfortunately, for the best game week. A lot of people brought him in because of Leicester. And now he's suspended and he's not going to play. So I made a transfer immediately that day after he got suspended. So my plan was to this game week to just roll maybe both transfers or maybe make a defensive change or ship Evan Nilsson, even though he returned. But since Rodgers got suspended for next game week, I sold Bruno Fernandes immediately and I just brought in Gordon. I'll show that later. Mbeumo, I already talked about. Happy with his return. It helped a bit on the rank. It was way worse before. Salah, I mean, almost half the points at this point. It's just become, you know, like... I feel bad for people who captain Palmer, to be honest. Like, I mean, you might, as I said, I've repeated this so many times at this point. Like, it's become like a minesweeper game, you know? The captaincy between Palmer and Salah. You get it wrong, you're just going to get... I mean, those who captain Palmer... And imagine if you captain Palmer, you didn't have the likes of Trent or Hall or even Chris Wood, who scored also 12 points. You must be going through a tough time. So yeah, Palmer blanked and Salah returned big. Liverpool, they're looking dangerous. It's just I still have no idea how they've gone so far ahead of everyone else. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, it's depressing because this Brentford game was, you know, do or die. At one point, I was like, if we lose this or draw, title is over. But let's see how that goes. It's going to be interesting. On attack, Isak returning, but at this point, it's not even fun anymore because when I brought Isak in pretty early, before everyone jumped in. So how much did I buy? You can't see here. I can see on the transfers, but I got him pretty early. So when he was not so highly owned, and every return was like huge rank boost. Now it's just damage limitation. I hate when players become that. It's just FPL becomes very boring. Evan Nilsson, after 4 blanks, 2-2-1. No, yeah, 2-2-2, 1 point, and then 8 points this game week. It was very welcome. I was very happy because I just didn't have. Same with the João Pedro, by the way. I don't mind. I don't care that much, but it's just it feels weird, like especially the content creators, the FPL content creators, flexing João Pedro points. This is why you keep João Pedro on your team. You know, the best. I'm like, he blanked 5-6 game weeks in a row. He blanked, and he got 2 assists, and now you're flexing the points. Like, wow, what a legend. I mean, should I do the same about Evan Nilsson? Go like, this is why you keep Evan Nilsson in your team, because after 4 blanks, he got an 8-pointer. Like, no, it's still João Pedro has been rubbish. Just it's fine. Like, it's cheap, it's rubbish. Not all the players have to return of the game. Some of them might have, like, especially the cheaper ones, they're gonna have a period when they score a lot and then they don't. Like, Evan Nilsson is playing Everton at home, so I'm probably keeping him this game week too, even though I'm tempted to get Chris Wood. But I feel at this point, there's a lot that's going to happen now. With chips, double game weeks, a lot of planning to do. So I'd rather have more free transfers than attack, every game week with like 1 player, 2 players. I think having free transfers would be more valuable than that. Jackson, 1 point. And Isak, yeah, as I said that. So let's just go to the pick team here. This is the team. So, of course, I'm tempted to use both transfers. I already used one. I brought in Gordon, as you can see here. But I don't know. So my defense is looking bad, or not the greatest. And my attack, Evan Nilsson Everton at home might be well. I mean, it could be he had a dry spell for like 4 or 5 game weeks now. And he returned this game week, so maybe it's good to have him for Everton, and then the fixtures get difficult. But it's not. I mean, a part of me. It depends. It depends which, like with the likes of MBEUMO. I never wanted to sell him because it's just. I love having him there. It's a penalty 90-minute man. You don't have to think about it. And he's returned against tougher teams and blanked against easier ones. If we just go here in MBEUMO. Let's go full. Look at there. So he returned against Arsenal, blanks against Brighton, blanked against Nottingham Forest, returned against Chelsea, returned against Newcastle. these are the games that you would bench because they're difficult games and play them in the easier games. So not always, not all the players, and I think Evan Nilsson is one of those as well. I wouldn't mind playing him against tougher teams because, you know, he might get returns there when you don't expect it. So I don't know. We'll see about that. Would love to have Wood though. But I'm trying to look at this this FPL season a bit like a chess game. I've been watching a lot of chess lately, especially for New Year's Eve. Magnus being crowned co-champion with Nepomniachtchi. But yeah, I'm trying to feel it like how. So a couple of thoughts here, okay? One, as I said earlier, that Saka injury really derailed my run because I had planned in my head at least, like it was so easy to have like a structure and then you have other players you can move around. But that injury, not only I brought in Bruno, he got red card, now I had to sell him and all of that, but also it changed the structure a little bit and now I'm just like in an uncomfortable position because I look at every game week, like there's some players that have tough game weeks and your team feels like bad. Like now I have Hall playing Tottenham away and Chelsea, Munoz playing Chelsea at home. They might both return this game week, but it just feels on paper not very strong as some other teams that you see on FPL or on Twitter. But that's the thing. Saka 1. 2. Mbeumo and Rodgers, keeping them have been like my best decisions ever this season so far because imagine how many headaches I would have and wasted transfers if I'd brought in the likes of, you know, Ahmad or even so when everybody was selling Mbeumo, because there was no very good alternative, Bowen was one of them, and now Bowen is long-term injury. So if people did that, not only they missed out on the points from Mbeumo, but now they have another crisis. They have to sell Bowen to find other players, so wasted transfer. And now Mbeumo got a price rise last night. Think about that. I mean, sometimes just not overreacting. I'm trying to tell myself because on the weekends, especially after Sunday's games, I was just I was just down with the trend and everything. I had that feeling of overreacting, making rash decisions, but I didn't. I just calmed myself down and it's fine. And the Gordon, I only made that because Rodgers got suspended. Had Rodgers not been suspended, I would obviously played Rodgers Leicester at home and played this exact midfield with Rodgers in there and bench Bruno for another game week. And then next game we go to have 3 free transfers. Now I'm going to have 2. But yeah, this is how it's looking. Ryan Gabriel with Brighton away. Again, not the easiest fixture. They might concede, but you know, what can you do? I mean, this is it. After that, they're going to have a couple of home games, although not being the easiest home games. But I mean, Arsenal defense. They might concede 1 goal or they might keep a clean sheet, but they're not going to leak too many goals. Munoz, I have to play him now because I brought him in, and Gomez is injured. And Colwill, that's another bad transfer that I made. Got influenced by the community because the Chelsea fixtures are good, but I knew the Chelsea fixtures were good, and I didn't have a problem owning Palmer and Jackson, but I said so many times I don't trust their defense. They just do not have a good defense. Mentally not good defense. They're not about defending like Arsenal is. Arsenal gets pissed when they concede a goal, defenders, and that's not the same with the Chelsea. And they played a horrible game against losing against Ipswich. Wow. So yeah, Hall, Tottenham away. He's not going to return another 12-pointer or keep another clean sheet. I feel like he might concede, but it's just I'd rather just have another bad game week and just have like the transfer, because with the chip, so we're going to have a double game week for Liverpool and Everton. And then we're going to have the chip from Game Week 24, the assistant manager chip. So I really have to think very well, plan a good strategy. Keep someone in the bank for the manager, and also decide if I'm going to play triple captain during the double game weeks and which player I'm going to bring and all of that. On midfield, I've got Gordon, Tottenham away. Don't mind that against that Tottenham defense. Mbeumo, Southampton away. Again, don't mind him. Even though Brentford away have been very poor. And he might blank, as I said earlier, like against the easiest fixture. He tends to blank and then score in the hardest one. Salah, captain. Again, I just don't want to risk and overthink that because... And Man United at home, Man United look just... so bad. They're so bad. I don't know. I was hoping Man United score a goal at least. That's why... Just to lose that clean sheet for Hall and probably some bonus points, because I was feeling bad that I benched him. But you can't, rely on Man United these days to help you with anything. And then Palmer, Crystal Palace away. Chelsea have had 2 very poor fixtures lately. what they lost 2 in a row against Fulham at home and Ipswich away. Those are not the hardest fixture. Fulham maybe, but Ipswich. So yeah, I don't know. It's become a bit of insecurity, especially with Jackson. But now I'm even more comfortable actually with Jackson starting, because people might say, "Oh yeah, but he got benched this game week and the other." Both times, I think they drew one and they lost this time. I think Maresca is not going to make that mistake again, because he probably thought he can rotate because it's Ipswich, but it's Premier League. You know, you don't do that in the Premier League. You can't just be, it's gonna be a, Ipswich. It's gonna be an easy game. So I think now he's even more nailed than he ever was, and hopefully gets something in Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace has been looking, decent, not the greatest, but decent. Isak again, as I said, Tottenham away. Don't mind it against that defense with both center defenders being injured. And Evan Nilsson I already talked about as well. Everton at home. I would love to have Wood, but I just feel like transfers are more valuable. That's it. And this is it. I'm not going to complicate it a lot. This is how the team is looking. It's not the greatest team on paper, I admit that, but it is what it is. I'd rather be 32 rank and get another small red arrow and then attack like a couple of game weeks in a row when I feel like the edge is bigger, like with the likes of the double game week and the both chips, the triple captain or the assistant manager. I have to decide which one I want to play, by the way. But yeah, this is it. This was too long already. I hope you did great on game week 19 and you're on a green arrow, and that continues for every one of you. I hope this video helped, giving you some ideas. And also, it's not just the players necessarily. I like this season, for me, it's helped a lot, like having a strategy. And that strategy is a bit loose, which is why I compared it a bit to chess, because you can't like decide, okay, I'm going to have this player for playing in 3 game weeks and now, because things change all the time. Some teams are having good form now, some players are going through good form now, and they're changing. Injuries, suspensions and all of that. So, but have like a plan in general. Like how can you attack game weeks without, being handicapped a lot? Yeah. That was it. Happy New Year one more time. I hope this year brings a lot of green arrows and happiness into your life. And thank you for watching again. Please like and subscribe. Help us this New Year's Eve to reach a higher goal in subscription. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and see you. Now it's going to be a break. So whenever the next game week is. I don't know about that. But see you then, and I hope you have a great game week. Bye. Come on. Just do it. I'm waiting. Just do it.